And welcome to Just for Clicks. This is Michael Buckcaster. I am the punnin'. I am trolling. I am making you guys scratch your head and say, what the fuck is this guy thinking of? And all that because I am the king of all those things. Like I said, I am Michael Buckcaster. This is Just for Clicks, y'all. On today's show, we got some Los Angeles Chargers versus Kansas City Chiefs. We got some more sports bets pick'em. We got some NBA. We got some college basketball. And then I'm going to talk a little playoffs. Playoffs? Yeah, we talking about playoffs. All that and much more right after the intro, y'all.
Coming for yours, now it's mine. All about it. My mind on my money, money on my mind. I sacrificed everything to get this fucking money. It'll be a rap just like a mummy if you try to get it from me.
And that was my man, Tech Nine, straight from Kansas City, Missouri. And that's exactly where we're going to start today. We're going to start at Arrowhead Stadium tonight at 8:20 Eastern Time on Fox Network. You have the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs are a 3.5-point favorite. Chargers are 10-3 on the season, 5-1 on the road. Chiefs are amazing 6-0 at home. Home of the largest stadium in the world, or the United States, whatever you want to call it. They're 11-2 on the season. Losses coming to the Rams and the Patriots. But we're going to get into it, y'all. So I've been on record on RTF Sports Talk saying that this is possibly the game that whoever wins this game will represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. So with all that being said, let's look of what's going on here. Philip Rivers is having a MVP caliber season. He has 29 touchdowns, just to 6 interceptions with just under 3,700 yards passing. He would probably be a front runner if he didn't run into this buzzsaw called Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes has 4,300 yards passing this season, 43 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. You heard that right, y'all. 43 touchdowns to 11 interceptions at 4,300 yards passing, which just 13 games into the season. So that's my MVP, Patrick Mahomes. You've done great, sir. You deserve the MVP, but you got to perform in the playoffs. So with all that being said, let's look what's going on with the Chargers as far as people being out. I believe it was 2-3 weeks ago, Melvin Gordon went down with a quad injury. He is expected to play tonight, but if you look at the injury report, he is questionable. So his backup is Austin Eckler. He is listed as out today. So if Melvin Gordon isn't hurting or isn't playing, and Eckler is out, who is going to run the ball for the Chargers? So for all you fantasy people out there, you might want to look into the third string tailback there of the Chargers just in case. We are RTF Sports Talk is doing a thing with FanDuel now. For those of you that don't know what FanDuel is, it is where you pick players each week for a fantasy team, but you have you can only spend $50 on players, Patrick Mahomes costs $15, Gronk costs $12. It's just something like that. So I would almost bet you that the third string tailback for the Chargers is probably only $1. So that'd be a great value pickup. And if Gordon is still questionable, like they're saying, I believe I've heard that he is playing, but he's listed as questionable, and Eckler is out. That would be a great pick. Moving on to the Kansas City Chiefs injury report here. Tyreek Hill, he is listed as questionable, but the Chiefs quickly tweeted out Monday saying that this is not an injury; it is a day-to-day. He has a sprained ankle. Eric Berry is slated to start tonight, but he is listed as questionable as well. But he is hands down that heart and soul of the defense. He is. I am just so excited as a Kansas City fan to see Eric Berry back on the field again. and just to see what this defense can do, because we're starting to come into our own a little bit. We're starting to figure things out, and with his added leadership and being on the ball hawk that he is, watch out, people. This is a great time for Eric Berry to come back. Final 3 games of the season, get his groove back, make a great, strong playoff push. Speaking of tailback, Spencer Ware is doubtful for tonight's game. That is a big loss, considering that Kareem Hunt is no longer on the Kansas City Chiefs. They did sign Cedric West. I'm not for sure how effective he will be tonight. So, with all that being said, I got to go with the Kansas City Chiefs, y'all. You know, those are my boys. I'm from Kansas. I'm from the KCK side. Man, give me the Chiefs. That's 3.5-point favorite. They're going to win by 10. It is going to be an ugly, ugly game for the Chargers. Traveling to Arrowhead on a primetime game on a Thursday, and you're telling me that we're only a 3.5-point favorite? Come on now. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs by 10 plus. Oh yeah, the sound effects are back, yo. For those of you that don't know, I am back in the RTF Productions studio. It is so freaking amazing to be back in my chair, back in front of the microphone, no longer talking on the headphones and giving you guys poor quality. We back. Woo! Just 4 clicks. Chill. All right, so let's move on to the sports bets pick'em here. NBA style on the association. The first game up, we got the Los Angeles Lakers, 17-10 on the season, taking on a Houston Rockets team that's 12-14. Houston is 5.5-point favorite. They are at home. This game is on TNT at 8 o'clock Eastern time. If the Chiefs weren't on, I would definitely be tuning in to this game, but I'm not. Rondo is still out for the Lakers, I believe with a broken thumb. Brandon Knight is out for the Rockets, and Marquise Chris is out for the Rockets as well. Leading the way for the Rockets in points, you got James Harden at 30 points per game, and LeBron James is obviously leading the way for the Lakers at 28.5 points per game. LeBron James also leading the team in assists and rebounds. James Harden is leading the Rockets in assists, and Capella is leading them in rebounds. For those people that follow the NBA closely, I don't follow it as close as I should, but I'm starting to. I like the Lakers. I like what they're doing. And the Rockets right now, they are pretty miserable. I believe at one point they were the last team in the West. Look at their last 5. They have dropped 3 of the 5 losses coming to Minnesota Timberwolves, Utah Jazz, and the Dallas Mavericks. They did win 2 nights ago on the 11th versus the Portland Trailblazers, 111-104. Lakers' last 5, they are 4-1 their last 5. They've beaten the Phoenix Suns, San Antonio, and then they lost to San Antonio. It's kind of weird that they played them back-to-back, one in LA, one in San Antonio. But San Antonio is just miserable right now. And then they beat the Memphis Grizzlies, and then they beat Miami Heat in a very emotional game for Dwayne Wade and LeBron James. That game was a 108-105 win. The Rockets and Lakers do play each other 4 times this year. Rockets have already beaten the Lakers in LA once this season. So they're leading the series 1-0, as you can say. I guess. Looking at the division standings in the Pacific standings, the Lakers are 3 behind the Clippers and Golden State. Golden State starting to come on as of late. Houston is last in the Southwest standings, behind Memphis, Dallas, New Orleans, and San Antonio. Another horrible Texas team. With all that being said, I do like the Lakers. I like LeBron James. I am a LeBron James fan, but I'm going to have to go with the Rockets at home. I'm learning quickly on these NBA picks that you want to pick the home team, especially on this Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night games. Just usually the road team, they're kind of struggling. They don't want to be there. That type of thing. But in the defense of the Lakers, they haven't played since the 10th. So they haven't played in 3 games, or in 3 days, I should say. But I'm still giving. I'm picking the Rockets to win. However, I don't think they'll cover, so I think they only win by 4 or 5 points. Moving on to the next one. Whoa, that was loud. My bad, y'all. That was my bad. Next up, we have the Clippers. The Los Angeles Clippers versus the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs, I was just talking about how horrible they are. Clippers are 17-10 on the season, 8-7 on the road. San Antonio Spurs are 14-14, 10-4 at home this season. Rosen is the leading point getter for the Spurs at 24 points per game. Harris is the leading scorer for the Clippers at 21 points per game. Looking at the past 5, Spurs are kind of on a run here. They've won 3 of their last 5 games. Wins coming against Phoenix, Utah, and the Lakers. Most recently, the 11th was their last game versus the Suns. Looking at the Clippers, they have only won 2 of their last 5 wins, coming over the Pelicans and the Suns back on the 10th in a overtime thriller, 123-119. Their most recent game was a loss to probably the best team in the NBA currently. That is not an overreaction because the Golden State just finally starting to get on the path here, getting their traction back. Everybody's coming back healthy, but they did lose to the Raptors 23-99. These two teams do play 4 times in the regular season, and the Clippers do lead the series 1-0 on a game back earlier this season at they won 116-11. Spurs are a 2.5 point favorite, but give me the Clippers. I like what they're doing there. They don't have that standout player. They don't have 5 All-Stars, 4 All-Stars. They have a great team over there. So with that being said, give me the Clippers. So therefore they do cover that point spread. Clippers went outright by 5. Moving on. No. My computer decided to act wonky on me there. Me being an IT guy, that's kind of embarrassing. Next up, game on the docket, we have the Chicago Bulls versus the Magic. Zach LaVine is a player to watch tonight. He is averaging damn near 24 points per game. And while that center for Orlando, I'm not going to try to butcher his name, but I might as well. Vucevic. He's averaging 20 points per game. Bulls are measly 6-22 on the season. Orlando is 12-15 on the season. Orlando is a 5.5 point favorite. I've been kind of following this Orlando team, not too closely, but close enough to see what they're doing. And they are a very young, talented team. The reason why I'm following is because they have a Kentucky player that I fell in love with, Bam Alabama. He is a pretty good force in that paint. He's a good backup to that Greek freak. Not the Greek freak, but the Greek freak, I guess. Venturik. I guess he might be Russian. I'm not 100% sure. But nonetheless, look at the last 5 for the Magic. They are 2-3 in their last 5 wins coming against Phoenix and Miami, and 3 straight losses coming to the Nuggets in overtime, the Pacers, and the Dallas Mavericks. Those were all pretty bad losses versus the Pacers and Dallas as well, one of which was at home, which is kind of embarrassing. Looking at Chicago, they have only won 1 of their last 5 games. Losses coming to Houston, the Pacers, beating OKC, and losing to Boston, and losing to a very solid Sacramento Kings team. Guys, look out for Sacramento in the future. If they sneak into the playoffs this year, do not surprise if they upset a 7 or a 3 seed. I don't think they'll beat the number 1 seed, but 2 or 3, watch out for them. With all that being said, these are 2 struggling teams, but I have to go with the team that is least struggling, the Orlando Magic, and they're at home with the 5.5 point favorite. I do not think they will cover the spread. They'll only win by 4 or 5 points. So the Chicago wins the spread, but Orlando wins outright. And the final game on this Thursday edition of the Just for Clicks sports talk here, we had the Dallas Mavericks 5-11 on the season, 2-9 on the road, versus the Phoenix Suns that's 4-24, 3-11 at home. Donrick is the leading point getter for the Dallas Mavericks here at 18 points per game, while DeAndre Ayton, that fine pick they got this season, is averaging almost 16 points per game. With that being said, look for him to have a pretty good game. Is he going to go with toe to toe with DeAndre Jordan? I don't know. I would be very intrigued to see that game. I won't be able to. Actually, the game is on TNT at 10:30 tonight, so I should be able to watch most of this game here. Looking at the injury reports for tonight, Devin Booker for the Suns is out. Dirk Nowitzki is out for the Mavericks as well as well as Dennis Smith and Wesley Matthews. Also, JJ Barrera, they're both day to day, so we're not for sure if they're playing tonight, but more than likely not, since they're on the road playing the Phoenix Suns. With that being said, I want to go with the Suns tonight. Dallas is a 6.5 point favorite, but like I said, looking back at the past 5, Dallas is on a roll. But they played last night at home, and now they got to travel to Phoenix. It is always rough for anybody to play back-to-back. I don't care if you're in 5th or 6th grade, junior high school, college, or the professionals. It is always rough to play a back-to-back game, especially when you're going on the road the next night. With that being said, they played 3 games in 4 days. They played on the 10th versus Orlando, and then they played last night versus the Hawks, and then they're playing tonight in Phoenix. So with that being said, the Suns will be a solid pick for me. I'm going with the Suns, and of course, they will obviously cover the spread since they are picked to lose. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the amateur hardwood here tonight. Big news coming from Kentucky, I believe it was yesterday. Quade Green is deciding to transfer out of Kentucky. I believe that is 100% confirmed, so he probably won't play Saturday. For those of you that are into the Kentucky basketball scene here, but we only have one top 25 team playing tonight, and that is the Wisconsin Badgers versus the Savannah State Tigers. Savannah State is 3-8 on the season, 0-7 on the road. Wisconsin is 8-2 on the season, 4-0 at home. Obviously, I'm going to have to go with Wisconsin on this game, but there's a 36-point spread on this game, so I am more intrigued of worrying about the final score than the actual game. It's like itself. I don't think Wisconsin is going to beat Savannah State by this 36 points that they are predicting here, simply because Wisconsin does just not score that many points. They are only averaging like 65 points per game when Savannah is averaging almost 80 points per game. They don't shoot the ball particularly well, but that Wisconsin defense it's very, very stingy defense that they have up there. Harp is their leading scorer with 19 points per game. Savannah State's leading scorer is a guy named Dotson. Dotson pretty much seems to be their man on the team. He is leading in points, rebounds, and assists on this season. Looking back at the past 5, like we always do here, Wisconsin is 3-2 of their last 5 losses, coming to Virginia, a very stingy team, just like Wisconsin is. That was back around Thanksgiving time. They played North Carolina State, beat them around Thanksgiving time. 1st of December, they beat Iowa at Iowa. They beat Rutgers soundly, 69-49. And then they lost last Saturday versus to Marquette, a very solid Marquette team, 74-69 in overtime. Looking at Savannah State's last 5 here, they did beat Alcorn State, but then they lost to Vanderbilt 120-85, lost to Weber State and South Dakota State. So Savannah State really doesn't have a chance in this game, but I don't anticipate them losing by 36 points. So Badgers win outright, but Savannah State covers the spread. Did I just give you guys a crazy pick? By golly, I did. this Thursday, this time of year, there's not a lot of association junior high games per se. Obviously, referring to the college basketball, the Wisconsin is the only top team playing tonight, the top 25 team, I should say, not the top team. But scrolling through this Tulsa team intrigues me because they beat my Kansas State Wildcats last Saturday. They beat them 47-46. Yeah, you heard right. That's the Big 12 football score. But the Kansas State lost 47-46 to Tulsa. Tulsa tonight is a 13-point favorite versus the New Orleans Privateers. That's a weird name. They're 4-3 on the season, 0-2 on the road. Tulsa Golden Hurricanes. Another weird name because I don't think there's ever hurricanes in freaking Oklahoma. But nonetheless, 7-3 on the season, 7-0 at home. I'm picking Tulsa to win this game. However, they are a 13-point favorite, and I don't think they're going to. I don't think they can win by 13 points. Look at all their past games. Their highest win total the last 5 games is 10. They did beat a UTA. Who was UTA? UT Arlington Mavericks. They are 0-7. They did beat them by 15. My math serves me right. Yeah, 15 points. 14 points. They beat them by. So, give me the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes, stupidest name in the world because there's no freaking hurricanes in Oklahoma, versus the New Orleans Privateers. Privateers cover, but Tulsa wins. All right, guys. So those are the sports bets pick'em of the day. I've given you the NBA. I've given you the NBA, I've given you the NFL, and I've given you the Amateur Association. Now, let's talk about NFL playoffs. If they were to start right now, today, December 13th, the AFC playoff picture looks like this. You have Chiefs at number 1, Patriots at number 2, Texans number 3, Steelers number 4, Chargers number 5, Ravens number 6. That's the AFC. As you go down to the NFC, you have the Saints at number 1, Rams number 2, Bears number 3, Cowboys number 4, Seahawks number 5, and number 6, Vikings. So I'm going to give you guys my playoff picture as of today. Who do I think is going to get in in 3 weeks or 4 weeks? 3 weeks, yeah. And 3 weeks. At number 1, I got to go with KC. I don't see them struggling against any team. Their only hiccup might be tonight versus the Chargers, just because the Chargers is a very good team. Number 2, I got to go with the Patriots. They had that division locked up. The only thing I could see is them maybe struggling at the end. But, the Patriots are the Patriots, and this is the time of year that you do not want to play the Patriots. It is simple as that. Just look at their next 3 games. They're at the Steelers, struggling. They're at the Bills, sucks. They're at the Jets, suck. So they aren't going to lose a game. So I think they're pretty much locked into that number 2 seed. Number 3, I'm going to have to go with the Texans. As much as I am starting to like the Colts, they are trending at the right time. They play the right teams as well. They do play my Dallas Cowboys, my second team. They play them Sunday, which I'll be there, and then they play the Giants and then the Titans. So I think I think the Texans have that locked up. I read you guys the Colts games. I should be reading the Texans games. That's my fuck up. My bad. The Texans played Jets, Eagles, and Jaguars. All winnable games there. All games they should win. Especially with breaking news of Carson Wentz having a fractured vertebrae and is out for the rest of the season. Number 4. This is where it gets tricky. Right now, if the playoffs were to start today, the Pittsburgh Steelers are in that driver's seat. But let's look at that division, okay? Let's take a look at it. You have Pittsburgh and Baltimore, both with 7 wins. Pittsburgh has a tie, so they only have 5 losses, and Baltimore has 6 losses. So right now, Pittsburgh is on top of that division. But lurking in the shadow, you have 2 5-wins teams of Cleveland and Cincinnati. Okay, so Let's look ahead at the Browns' remaining schedule. They have the Broncos, they have the Bengals, they have the Ravens. All very winnable games for the Browns. If they win those games, that puts them at 8 wins on the season. 8, 7, and 1. Okay? Now let's look over at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has a remaining schedule of the Patriots, at the Saints, at the Bengals. And Ben Roethlisberger, we don't know if he's healthy. We don't know if he's playing. We don't know if he's retiring. We don't know what he's doing. So, Steelers won't beat the Patriots. They won't beat the Saints. They might have a chance against the four-string quarterback that the Bengals are putting on the field there. So that puts them at 8 wins. If the Steelers play well this week, I know they'll probably lose to Tom Brady's Patriots at Foxborough at a 4:25 America's game of the week more than likely. I guess that's a Fox thing. This game's on CBS, but nonetheless, if they play well, I give them a chance to be in the playoffs still. But if they look horrible, they are out. Give me Cleveland. I think Cleveland is going to sneak into that number 4 spot in the AFC. Then you're looking at number 5. If there wasn't a division thing, the Chargers would be fighting for home field advantage, which it wouldn't get, but they would be like a 2 or a 3 seed. So by mathematical equations, that puts them at the number 5 seed. Then you're fighting for that number 6 seed. You have the Ravens that have committed to Lamar Jackson. They put all their eggs in that Lamar Jackson basket, which is wrong, but whatever. In the hunt, you have Colts, Dolphins, Titans, and the Broncos have a very, very slim chance here. So I think that final 6 seed is going to come between the Colts and the Dolphins. The Colts, like I said, they have the I guess I just wrote it. I read it off to you guys earlier, but let's go ahead and read it again. They do play the Cowboys this weekend, and then they play the Giants, and then they play the Titans. They do own the tiebreaker versus the Texans, but I do have the Texans winning that division, so that doesn't matter. So I think the game's going to come. I think that the 6th seed is going to come down to week 17. It's going to become between the Colts and the Titans, and I think the Colts are going to sneak in there. I think the Colts are going to have that 6th seed locked up once they beat the Titans. Okay, so just for clicks, Michael Buckheister's AFC playoffs picture that I think is like what happened in 3 weeks is I have Kansas City number 1, Patriots number 2, Texans number 3, the Cleveland Browns number 4, Chargers at number 5, Colts at number 6. Now let's move over to the NFC division. If they were to start today, they had the Saints number 1, Rams number 2, Bears number 3, Cowboys number 4, Seahawks number 5, Vikings number 6. I'm going to have to echo of what they said there. I do have the Saints winning their division, being the number 1 overall seed in the NFC. Then by process of elimination, I got to go with the Rams as well. Now this is where this is going to kind of get tricky. The Cowboys have a very easy schedule coming up. Like when I say easy, these are games that they should win. They should beat the Colts. They should beat the Buccaneers. They should beat the Giants. The only hiccup I might see is the Colts, because the Colts are playing really, really well, but the Cowboys are playing really, really well too. I believe the Cowboys have won 5 in a row now, if I'm not mistaken. So the Cowboys win those last 3 games. That will put them at 11-5 on the year. And then you look at the Bears. I have the Bears winning the NFC North, so they'll be a top 4 seed as well, like as well. But look at their last 4 games. They play the Packers, at 49ers, at Vikings. I could see them dropping 2 of those 3 games. I think they'll beat the Packers. I'm not for sure. We'll find that out on Sunday on a Sunday edition here. I'll be on the road, obviously, but I think that 49ers Vikings teams look out for those 2 games. So let's say they only win two games, 2 of their last 3 games. That puts them at 11-5 as well. Now I'm not for sure who would own the tiebreaker at that point, but I'm going to have to put the Cowboys at the number 3 seed. I think the Cowboys will win their final 3 games to win 8 in a row, being a great trending way up, and the Bears will come in at that number 4 seed because they'll win that black and blue division. Now you have the wild card seeds. If you guys listen to the RTF Just for Clicks simultaneous podcast, I believe it was on Monday. when we had the Seahawks-Vikings game, and I did pick the Seahawks to win. Yes, thank you guys. Let's get that applause going. There we go. Yeah. Thank you guys. We did say on RTF Sports Talk that the winner of that game would be a lock into the playoffs, and I cannot go back on my word. So I'm putting Seahawks in there at the number 5 seed. They are 8-5 on the season, and I think they are in. Now that final 6 seed, currently they have the Vikings in there. In the hunt, you have the Eagles, Panthers, Redskins, and Packers, all with 7 losses. Eagles, Panthers, Redskins, Vikings all has 6 losses. Packers are pretty much on their way out. I think the only way the Packers can win or get in is they have to win out, and they have to hope everybody in front of them loses. With that being said, let me go by each team here. I said the loser of the Seahawks-Vikings game, the loser would be out of the playoffs. Right now, I might have to renege. Might have to renege on that. Let's look at the Minnesota Vikings remaining schedule here. They have the Dolphins, which is a playoff contending team, so that won't be no easy game. They have the Lions and the Bears. The only game I see them possibly winning is maybe the Lions, but it is at Lions at 1:00. It's an early kickoff game, so you never know. Kirk Cousins is struggling, but that's besides the point here. I'm not going to go over the Eagles because I think the Eagles are out. With the news of Carson Wentz being out for the rest of the season, I don't know if Nick Foles has that magic like he did last year to catapult them into a Super Bowl or even to a playoff game. Let's look at the Panthers. Panthers are a team that's quickly falling apart at the seams. They've lost 5 games in a row. They play the Saints this week. That's a loss. They play the Falcons. That's a loss. And they play the Saints again. Panthers are out. No way Panthers are getting in. Redskins, they're probably not getting in either. They're down to their 5th string quarterback at this point. Hell, they had Mark Sanchez butt fumble himself in there. They've lost 4 in a row. They play the Jaguars, Titans, and Eagles. They could win 2 of those last 3 games, maybe even 3 games there, but I just don't see that happening. So with all that being said, jump over to the Packers, probably the least team to get in, but they do play the Bears, Jets, and Lions, all very winnable games. Hopefully there's no ties again, even though that wasn't them, but they tied the Vikings. But with all that being said, I think it's going to come down to the Vikings and the Packers. And I think the Packers might sneak in. I said this different on RTF Sports Talk. If you guys listen, I did have the Eagles sliding in there, but that was before the announcement officially that Carson Wentz was out for the rest of the season with that broken back. So give me the Packers. If they can rattle off those 3 wins, look out for them, guys. Look out for them in the playoffs if they get to sneak in. So the Just for Clicks playoffs, if from what I think is going to happen, I had the Saints at number 1, Rams number 2, Cowboys number 3, the Bears at number 4, Seahawks number 5, and the RELAX man himself, Aaron Rodgers, Packers, that bringing in at number 6. So let me go through the playoffs for you guys. If my playoffs were to start today, in the AFC, we'd have the Texans versus the Colts and the Browns versus the Chargers. Whew. Actually on RTF Sports Talk, I did have the Steelers in there. So let me fix that. I'm making a strong case for the Colts, but I do believe the Steelers will make it in at the end of the day. So Texans versus Steelers, I have the Steelers beating the Texans. I don't think the Texans are a team yet to really mess with. But the Steelers have been there, done that. If you let them in, they're going to do great things, and historically they're good at the 6th seed. Then you have the Browns versus the Chargers. Give me the Chargers on that one. So then in the divisional championship game, you had the Steelers versus my Kansas City Chiefs. Basically, Steelers have owned the Kansas City Chiefs in the postseason. I don't think that happens this year. Give me Kansas City. Then you had the Chargers versus the Patriots on RTF Sports Talk. I had the Pats beating the Chargers, and I don't think I was in my right mind this morning. I had the Patriots winning the Super Bowl, actually, but I got to go with it. Tom Brady in the month of December, he's just really good. So for the AFC Championship game, you have the Chiefs versus the Patriots. I got to go with the Patriots. Guys, yes, I am picking against my beloved Kansas City Chiefs, but I got to go with the Patriots. You got to pick with your head, not with your heart. Move over to the NFC. You have the Cowboys versus the Packers. Like I said, this is different from what RTF Sports Talk I had, but I do like the Cowboys beating the Packers. I like their defense. I like that Vander Esch kid. Sean Lee is coming back, and Tyron Austin is back as well. So there are more offensive firepower happening there as well. Then you have the Bears versus the Seahawks. Give me the Bears on this one. I do like the Bears a lot, even though I don't know. They're not great, but they're a really solid team. So that puts a matchup of the Rams versus the Cowboys in LA. Give me the Rams on that one. I think the Rams are performing really, really well. I have faith in them. Then we have the Bears versus the Saints. On RTF, I had the Bears and the Saints in the championship game, actually, because I figured the Bears would be in the third seed, but I flip-flopped the Cowboys and the Bears because I don't know what the breaker is. But I feel if the Bears play the Saints in the divisional championship game, the Saints will win. But if the Bears and the Saints play in the championship game, the Bears will beat the Saints. Does that make sense to y'all? Probably not, but that's the way I feel. I feel if the Bears make it past the divisional game, they are destined to make it to the Super Bowl. But if they play a Saints team in the divisional round, they are not destined. So that puts a Rams-Saints championship, 1 versus 2. Give me the Saints. Then you have the battle of the GOATs, I guess you could say. You have Tom Brady versus Drew Brees in the Super Bowl. I like Tom Brady's chances. I like the Patriots winning their 6th Super Bowl in 17 years or 18 years, whatever it is. They're basically averaging every 1 point or 2.5 years or something crazy like that. Patriots make it back to the Super Bowl. Patriots win the Super Bowl. As much as that hurts me to say, still, go Chiefs!